Hi everyone. So I was hoping to record a little bit of content for you yesterday after my morning patients. Unfortunately, we got snowed off, so clinic had to shut. Snow's been pretty rough down here, so I wasn't able to do that. Yesterday was a bit of a write-off. I had to sort a load of stuff out for patients. Getting around to it today on my normally a day when I'm not in clinic, so you'll have to forgive my sort of more casual attire. We've just moved house as well, so we've got this is my sort of new office space. Nothing very exciting at the moment. This video is for one of our members who asked for me to do a video on the 5 things you should do or should not do when you have SI and low back pain. So let's get into it. So number 1, the main thing that I think people need to know to not do when you have back and SI pain is don't panic. Okay, so back pain, SI pain, it is a very, very normal experience. So around about 80% of people get back pain at some point in their life. And about 20% of those people go on to have what we call chronic or recurrent issues. So it's a hugely normal thing. You can look around your office at work when you get to go back into the office, that is, and you can be confident saying 80% of the people in this room will get back pain at least once in their lifetime. Okay, so yeah, it's important. Don't think you're broken. Don't panic. Okay, this is a normal thing. It's happened to 80% of people. We've got to figure out what we're going to do to get back to normal. All right. So on top of that, my next piece of advice tails on from that. Okay, so my next piece of advice would be keep moving. All right. So when you have an acute episode of back pain, the worst thing you can do is just bed rest. Just go and relax, wait for the pain to go away. I've seen a lot of people in groups before talk about how when their pain is really high one day, that all they can manage to do is chill out, watch Netflix, try and relax. That isn't what the research says is a good idea. I'm not attacking those people by any means. If that's what you feel you can do, you have to do what you feel is best. But the research says when you have these episodes, one thing that you do need to do is to keep moving. And that it doesn't mean you've got to go hurt yourself. Whatever you can manage is absolutely fine. And that will vary day to day based on how your pain is. All right, so number 3, focus on your recovery and not trying to figure out what it is. So don't try and figure out what the thing is that's wrong. You need to take your time and energy to try and create the right recovery environment. I actually did a post the other day which was a quote from a pain science professor who's also a physiotherapist from Australia, and the quote is I can't remember exactly, but the quote is talking about how we need to focus on creating the right environment for recovery and don't try and figure out what the thing is wrong and then try and correct it. All right, so if you're trying to figure out what the thing is that's wrong with you and try and correct that, you're going to really struggle. What we need to focus on is how do we facilitate recovery. Okay, because statistically speaking, about 90% of back pain does not have a single underlying cause. All right, so we call it multifactorial. There's several different things that are all playing together to create your pain. So if you try and put your finger on what it is, well, you can't. And if you do put your finger on a thing, it's probably not that accurate. All right, there'll be multiple things that you can place your finger on. All right, so if you do. So you may have problems with your SI joint, but that isn't the whole story, okay? So sleep, quality and quantity of sleep, your stress levels, so your mood day to day, your mental health, your overall activity levels, all right? Whether your activities are too high or too low, that has an effect. If you're pushing through pain to try and achieve things day to day, that has an effect on it. Or even if just negative narratives we have about our body. So a lot of people say like, oh, somebody, I saw one the other day saying a chiropractor treated me and caused some damage in my spine and it's never repaired. Well, that's a negative narrative and it's not based on scientific fact, okay? We know that human bodies will heal pretty much any injury within around 12 weeks. So all of those things play into the pain that we feel, okay? So we need to focus on facilitating the recovery. That's really, really important. Don't try and figure out what the single thing is that's wrong and then correct it. Another thing that's really important is that we need to try and keep life normal. Okay, so you need to go about your normal day-to-day life, but without specifically aggravating the pain. So sometimes we need to modify stuff. So keep life normal, but don't keep pissing your back off, if that makes sense. Okay, so you know, for example, if you're getting pain when you're standing for a long period of time, you might not be able to stand, wash the dishes, and then dry them all in one go. You might have to, say you're working from home, you might have to, say you have your lunch, you then want to wash and dry after lunch. You might just be able to have your lunch, wash up, and then go back to your work for a bit, and then dry again a bit later. So we call it chunking. So you want to just break your task down into little things so that we can keep life normal, but that we don't keep aggravating our back pain. All right, that was number 4. Number 5, my last piece of advice. All right, one thing that you've got to do when you've got back and SI problems, you've got to stay positive. All right, so negative expectations for your overall recovery, in our opinion, are going to kind of seal your fate, if you like. If you're not expecting to recover in what you're doing, then, and you think you're going to have problems forever, that's going to be a big driver behind turning a short-term problem into a long-term issue. All right, so we've got to stay positive. We've got to stay on top of all the things that we need to do to facilitate our recovery, and we've got to invest ourselves in and believe in the fact that yes, this is a short-term problem. I've got some things to work on myself at home. These are where I'm going to put my energy and my attention, and that's how I'm going to facilitate my recovery, and I'm confident that I'm going to get there. Putting all those things in together within that kind of stay positive idea, that is really important. We appreciate, obviously, you can't, I mean, pain sucks, right? So you're not always in a great mood with it. And you can have down spells. You can have periods where you get really angry, really fed up with it. But it's important that we bounce back from that in the right way and get back to facilitating our recovery. All right, so those are the 5 points. So don't panic, keep moving, focus on your recovery, and don't try and figure out what is wrong with the body. Keep life as normal as possible without aggravating your pain, and stay positive. All right, so let me know what you think. I enjoy, this was a request from a member of the group. I really enjoy doing this kind of stuff for you guys. Gets me thinking, and I think it's great to share and great for us to interact. We want to create an environment where we can all work together to help everybody recover from their pain. So if anybody's got any requests, stick them in the comments below this video. I'd love to try and help you guys out and answer some of your questions. And then I will catch up with you guys again next week. Bye.